Good evening, race fans. Headed home from the head of the Charles. I'm in the truck with Marguerite, our women's assistant coach. Just finished a very long weekend in Boston at the head of the Charles. Great weekend for everyone. Started out on Saturday morning with Alumni 8. The alumni were a kind of cool combination of athletes with, there was a guy from each year from 2017 up until last year, 2024, in the boat, with two from the class of 22. So that was cool to have a member from each class a span of years. They started outbound number 18. I think they were expecting to have a little bit slower year in comparison to their peers because it's a post-Olympic year, which is often very fast in the alumni category because a lot of Olympians come back and row with their respective crews. But we actually had a great row. They moved up one spot into 17th position, which guarantees their entry for next year. There's some excitement cooking about next year's crew. Some big names potentially coming back. So this is the first shout out to the alumni to start training. I think a good goal for next year for that group would probably be to have two strong eights, perhaps both in the alumni category or maybe one in the club 8 category. Could be a lot of fun. So get your ergs dusted off and start training. Training starts now, tonight. Get to it. And then Saturday afternoon, we had a lot of the alumni getting together at the beer garden in the finish line area, which was a lot of fun. We had women's alumni 8 and a women's alumni 4, who both came and did really well and had a lot of fun. I think they both guaranteed their entries as well for next year. So cool stuff for all of our young alumni. And we were able to watch the women's team racing in the Club 8 and Club 4 event in the afternoon, which was a lot of fun, and really perfect weather throughout the weekend, but yesterday especially. Also got a chance to watch Chris Crawley, captain from the class of 21. And Crawley was in the lightweight championship single, moved up from 8th last year into 2nd place this year, and earned a medal, which was a cool result for him. He's been working really hard. We did a podcast with him when he was at the Olympic trial earlier in the year, so that's worth a look. But Crawley's working hard, and he's got another big speed order regatta coming up this fall to shoot for some of his goals for the national team. So we'll keep an eye on him. Then Sunday, today, we had just the men's collegiate 8 and the men's collegiate 4. Sunday is kind of a really fun day at the Charles because a lot of the youth events are in the morning on Sunday, and so we got to watch the various youth singles and doubles, 4s, coxed quads, and 8s, and also got a chance to meet with and talk to a lot of really amazing youth athletes who are looking at college and interested in Marist. So for all the guys that we met, thanks for stopping by, and gals. And if you didn't stop by, we hope that we'll hear from you anyway. Feel free to reach out. And sounded like a typical Charles from most of the athletes that, if you were in the very top group, you felt like you had a great run, and everybody else was kind of scratching their heads about various incidents that happened on the race course, or run-ins with other boats, or taking turns the wrong way. But that's kind of the nature of this race, and so it was cool to hear everyone's stories. The Collegiate 8 and Collegiate 4 went out this afternoon. The 8 had an abysmal year last year, by all accounts. I think that they were not the strongest boat fitness-wise, and also were not rowing that well together, just as far as having a rhythm as a boat. And this year's boat, both Coach Stratton and I noticed about a week and a half ago that we found a crew that seemed to move really well together and had some good rhythm, and that was very exciting. And so even though we didn't have any good hard numbers on it, just had a sense that they were going to be a much smoother, stronger crew that could kind of sustain a higher effort level over the course of the whole piece. And that boat started, I believe, in 29th position, right behind Fairfield, and they buzzed past Fairfield very quickly in the early going of the race, and then had a really nice clean line behind Marietta. They ended up placing 20th overall, which is a big step up from last year. I think they were down in the 30s last year, places-wise. And so 20th place guarantees our entry for next year, which is a big deal, and beat some important teams, some strong teams that we will see in the spring. So they felt really good about their race. It was a very young crew. We had 6 underclassmen in that boat and only 1 senior. And also only 1 returning athlete from last year's Varsity 8. So that was a big step forward for that boat. And then our 4, which was our first time returning to that category, hard to set goals for that boat just because it's a little bit of the Wild West. There's a lot of club teams in that category with their best 4 athletes in that boat. And there's some other squads like ours that have their kind of next best 4 oarsmen after their 8. That boat had a really great showing. They ended up placing 10th, which also guarantees their entry for next year. And they felt like they had a great race. Definitely got into some more scrappy situations with other crews. They were rowing kind of side by side with a crew from, I believe, Colgate and also Alabama throughout the course of the race. So they went through several bridges with multiple boats across and still managed to have that pretty strong result. And so I know they came away feeling like their piece could have been a little bit stronger, a little bit more aggressive, but we were very excited to have them re-guarantee the entry for next year and put the boat in a position to be more successful in our next run in 2025. So it was a great day. Overall vibes were we set some goals for what we wanted to accomplish today, and both boats met those goals and felt good about that, and we're ready to get back to work. Next week we will be at the head of the Schuylkill in Philly. We will have the full squad at that event, so there will be 5 8s of oarsmen running around Philly and causing mayhem. And we'll also have a 6th 8 and also a 4 of our older alumni there to row in some of the Masters events and represent the Red Fox Navy. So thanks to the very large parent and alumni contingent who stopped by the Charles. We even saw some older parents from some of our graduated athletes who stopped by to say hi. So thanks everyone who came by to support. Also really cool to see some of our recent grads out coaching at their own college squads. Ryan Lillis was there coaching for Cornell. And Christopher Recken is with Minnesota. New job that he got this fall with the Golden Gophers. And Jordan Irving, who just recently moved back from the UK, from Oxford Brookes, and is now the assistant at San Diego. So really cool to see those guys out working with their teams and kind of bringing the little taste of Marist culture to the rest of the rowing community. That's all I got for you tonight. Me and Marguerite are just headed home. We finally just made it off the big traffic jam here on Route 90, and trailers all racked up. We'll see you guys in Philly next weekend.